Hi guys, my name is Kip Russell. I'm an influencer with nearly a million followers. I'm also a marketing executive at an agency, and I'm going to walk you guys through the evolution of influencer marketing from an influencer's perspective. I've worked with major brands on both sides, either executing campaigns or being an influencer myself. I live and breathe and eat the social media stuff, so aggressive. But anyways, I'm going to dive you in things that are really actionable for your businesses. If you're a small business owner, an entrepreneur, solopreneur, or you're a large enterprise, this is going to be really valuable for you guys. So I'm going to walk you through this training, and give you guys everything you need to know. A couple of things we'll get into: myself, introduction, evolution of influencer marketing, how we got here, influencer marketing secrets, stuff you need to know, and then open it up for, well, there'll be questions on this one because this is just more of a training for everybody, but we'll get into it. Attention is the new oil of the digital economy. If you're not familiar with it, I was just listening to something by Gary Vee, but I really think it's well said. He said, value and attention is the moat of any business. So if you're providing value to people, in any sense, right, the end customers, like, the most important thing, that is the moat of your business. So in this day and age, if you have their attention and can provide value, it's a moat that will consistently provide leads, attention, revenue for your businesses, right? So again, Kip Russell, I've worked with a lot of brands here. You can see them: Quill, Big Dan's, Land of Frost, Marco's Pizza, Kiku, Village Inn. Been around, Public Storage, big brands, help them with their influencer marketing, all sorts of social, paid social, manage like 50 million in ad spend, all that good stuff, right? But I'm also a creator. I post social media content. I make music. I'm out there. I really love this stuff. I do have about 1 million followers. You can see here, 950,000 followers. I've worked with some major brands on partnerships, creator experience, etc. Here's a couple pieces of content I've done for Sweet Tarts, Prime Video, Red Lobster, Rice Krispies. I also show this to show you that some videos aren't home runs. Red Lobster, purely organic, 25,000 views. I think we did like 4 videos and they got about 150,000 views as part of their broader campaign. Where these other ones, are a lot more successful. And then I've done some big stuff with clients. This is a big B2B SaaS company here where we partner them with corporate Natalie. If you don't know, she's big on TikTok, blew up in the COVID era. And then that organic content was so successful, she reaches a younger demographic of executives. We expanded that campaign across paid media, organic, and TV spots to really be an extension. They also worked with a bunch of different brands. And this became successful. She did well. We used her ads and performance marketing for leads, and she did well as well. So you can see how influencer marketing can be a big part of your program. These are just really quick examples, but I want to get more into the meat of this presentation, which is, where's things going? I mean, I've been doing this since I joked the MySpace days, and I'm going to give you a quick history. If you don't know what influencer marketing is, it's really the same thing. It's that endorsement of someone who owns attention that can either one, just represent your product, or you can do collabs and all sorts of things, or develop lines with them to kind of build off both brand equities, right? Started most notoriously, I think, in the NBA days. Michael Jordan, going on years before this, but I think where the modern era starts, maybe Michael Jordan, when he does his collaboration product with Nike. If you didn't see the movie Air, it's amazing. Check it out. But really, that shows, I think we're kind of going full circle almost to that moment. I'm going to explain it where all this stuff is going now. But, in the 2000s, as the internet came along, you had bloggers. If people don't remember the mommy blogger era, tech bloggers, right? They would write articles and have affiliate links to your products. And it was a great way to get attention, as people were really searching in the early days, trying to find information. Then the iPhone comes out, you get Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Vine. And essentially, you start to see that social influencers arrive. And really, that's where attention goes to social media. All the other mediums are now number 2 or 3, right? So you got to know, in this context, social is the primary place to drive demand, upper funnel attention for your business. There's nothing else even close, right? And I would loop YouTube into that. So then in the 2020s, TikTok and YouTube really are taking, and Instagram, I'll put in there, are taking over the attention. And that changes from your friends graph of Instagram, we'll talk about it, into TikTokification, where it's not really always about your followers. Followers does help. You want to have a large follower base, especially on like a YouTube, where your subscribers get notifications of your content. But content is now king. If you make good content, it has high watch time, you're going to get pushed out to the algorithm, and you're going to get all sorts of organic growth. And now we're in this next phase, and I think it's going to be interesting, where AI influencers, and there's all sorts of ways that what this means, I'm going to walk you through it in the next few slides, and business-led influencers, where you're integrating attention. Either it's employee-generated content, or your CEO or key executive is the influencer driving thought leadership, helping grow your business. This can be done at a local business level, and we'll talk about it, and it can be wildly successful, and it can be done as a solopreneur, can be done as a large enterprise. And I think the AI aspect could make this really successful for B2B. And we'll talk about it in the next few slides. AI influencers are out there, high level. I don't want to get spend a lot of time on this slide, but there's a site, Virtual Humans. There's sites like HeyGen we'll talk about, and render.net, where you can clone people and make influencers. But there already is successful influencers here. You can see Lil Michaela, if I'm saying that right, Shudu, who's the first AI supermodel, and then you have Brood, are all examples of AI, and they already have millions or hundreds of thousands of followers. Where you're posting the content, it's all AI generated, and it's wildly successful, and they do brand deals, and people are managing them. Kids like them. If you think of like the world, the generations are raised on Fortnite and video games. An AI influencer or an avatar is nothing, I think, out of the ordinary. You know, my nephew would rather buy a skin or, you know, an outfit for his Fortnite character sometimes than buy stuff for himself. So that online virtual aspect of the world is going to be real. I think as, you know, you go to meta classes and things become more hybrid, I don't think there's anything. These AI clones could get put into real life and do advertisements through 3D and animations in stores. It's going to get wild, right? So the pros of this, and I think with all of this is, and you can see in the next few slides, are there's a consistency in scale where, like, you know, you're making this stuff on computers and you're not having to do these big expensive shoots. You do have to pay a team to manage the content, but there's you're not flying to Rome to do a shoot. You're just rendering a background and adding, you know, your imagery. So there's a cost and flexibility to it, and it's controllable. You're not necessarily worried about anything happening where your AI influencer is caught up in some sort of scandal, unless it's like someone's taking an influencer and doing something, you know, X-rated with it or something like that. But the cons are it's just not authentic. Is this a gimmick? Is it early? You know, is it basically is there going to be novelty to this, right, or backlash? Eventually, people are just going to want to go back to tried and true. Is there ethical concerns? A lot of the social networks are kind of helping with that. They're like, you have to basically say if it's AI generated now, otherwise your content can get punished or removed. So pros and cons. Here's a real tangible business thing. This is someone called the AI surfer, and I can see this strategy can work for B2B companies, can work for local businesses. People who don't want to be in front of camera, don't really have time to be in camera, but you need that person to be the face of the company, or you want to build brand on social media. This is actually a really smart way, and you can sign up for this guy's course to learn it. But if you go to this guy, he's got like about 300,000 followers, and it really works well for him because he's an AI clone. This guy on the right is actually he cloned himself as the business owner, and he just educates in these videos doing AI, and it's done through HeyGen, which you film yourself, it clones you, and then in your audio. So basically, it sounds like you just can't move a lot. You can't be animated like me. You have to be very still. So you can barely tell. On the mobile phone, you can't even really tell this is a clone. And then they edit the video on top, and it's an educational 60-second video, 30-second video that's really straight to the point. But they're getting the scripts and the information from Claude AI, which is just like ChatGPT. And then someone has to do the video editing, so there's a little bit of labor to it. At the end of the day, this can be a very, very scalable way to do content. If you think about social got really hard to do because you need a lot of video to make, you know, and design now, video and editing. Now you could clone like 3 or 4 key people at your company. You could clone your CEO. If you're a small business, you could have an agency just basically putting out content for you about your expertise. This can be really managed and scalable, and really be a great way to put out thought leadership content. And you just basically type in a script in HeyGen, and the guy talks, or the person or the clone talks for you. If you don't have someone at the company, you could develop a clone on HeyGen. They have all sorts of, like, you know, you can find the right person that fits your demographic and just have them put out the content. So if you're a SaaS company, you could have someone basically, and you just type out the script and educate people on how you're around the HR space, and then around your software, and then around business cases. This can be very scalable. So I really like this. We're going to be testing it at Spinny Tech, at the place I work. I might be testing it for myself. But this feels like a very something that might just be part of everyday social media moving forward. Let's keep going here. Another interesting cloning thing here is you can scale influencer creative with AI. So this is sort of the same thought, but these are actually real influencers in the world. This company is called icon.me. They basically already have influencers there. You could probably add influencers to the program or select your own. But it's the same concept here. An influencer does one read The hard thing with influencers is expensive. If you need them to do edits, if you need multiple videos, everything costs more. But the program like this is they do one read, and then AI can render 20 to 30 different videos based off that one read. Again, they have to have a little bit limited motion. It can actually superimpose the product. So at the end of the day, in your paid advertisement, you can test 20 to 30 different videos. And if you think, if you're a paid media buyer, creative, different hooks, different takes, different copy can make all the difference. And again, for an influencer, this is like Cameo, right? You do one and you're making good money. And at the end of the day, it's scalable because you don't need to go back and do 1,000 edits. You got other stuff to worry about. Then maybe you can do more brand deals and make more income this way. But you're going to be exposing yourself and you're putting a lot of trust in the other people's hands. So this is really interesting. Again, I think this is like very early level stuff. I think with all the AI tools, if I could summarize it, there's so much opportunity there, but we're still very early. It's like the Twitter, MySpace days of AI. And there's so many tools. Everything costs $20, $30, right? I think at some point you'll get the workhorse Photoshop aspect of AI. And I think that's where things will get really crazy, or like the voice assistant AI, and we'll be off the races. But this is really interesting, very tactical stuff you can implement in your business right now. So how do we get here? With influencer marketing, and I'll talk a little bit about the evolution of social here. You can't take a paid social mindset into a channel whose attribution doesn't come with a 7-day click, 1-day view. Like what you're really doing with influencer marketing here is that bottom quote: running influencer marketing is buying attention at scale. Yes, you can track things. Yes, there's some aspects where you can run ads or whitelist to make it more performance-based. But influencer marketing, and I'm wearing I always say a shoe called Canes now. I saw these through people posting how great these shoes were. Boat families from this area that basically are relatable, 30, 40,000 followers this entrepreneur has. And I'm like, oh, that's the perfect shoe for me. I don't like Crocs. These are like a running shoe Croc. That attention got me to the site. I did the research. I make the purchase, right? So you're buying that attention at scale. And with social shopping and all the things going on, you need to be integrating this and thinking about influencers as an extension of your team, right? So brands are built on social media. If you don't get this, this is just a fascinating chart here. Traditional media is dying. Podcasts and social media have taken the place of radio and TV. You can see the black there is traditional media attention, and then digital just going straight up. If you think about this presidential election cycle, you have a candidate you have a lot of Republican candidates were on lots of podcasts. So they all built brands very rapidly. There was a certain threshold to that. But you're seeing now the presidential candidates, they can't just go on Fox News. They can't go on CNN, because really the value of going on Fox News or CNN now is that those clips get distributed to Twitter, to Facebook, to Instagram, to TikTok. So you have to think about it as the primary channels are social. If you go on Fox, you go on anything, it's the clipping and sharing that's the value. It's not CNN anymore. They maybe have 500,000 viewers, but when you put that clip on social media, you might get 50 million views on those clips, right? So the game is go where the eyeballs are, and then that syndication is spread across the web, right? And at this point, if you don't realize it's good for your small business or local business or big business, you're thinking wrong, and that's probably why you're losing. We could get into some more stuff, but old algorithms were about the friends graph, who you follow, the pages you follow. That still has a little bit of tried and true, but really since TikTok came, what TikTok exposes, watch times all that matters, and that content that's relevant to your user and provides value or entertainment or is interesting is the whole game. So to win now in social media, it's all about watch time. So making really, people always talk about the hook, the first 3 seconds, get people to watch, and watch. The more they watch it or repeat watches, that video is going through the roof. And I can attest for that. But content is now more evergreen. I have videos now that I posted 3 or 4 months ago. They're still getting thousands of views a day because it's like YouTube. Social is basically like YouTube. If the content's relative, they want people, the social networks want people to stay on their platform. They'll keep serving that video until it's basically not relevant, right? So you need to start thinking about extending all that organic free attention you got in Google search is now going to social. You need to future-proof your business by moving fast. The search is going to get whacked with AI in the next few years. You got to get ahead of this stuff. So make interest-based content, SEO-friendly content. So you think your brand, someone's going, cooking in Tampa or a restaurant in Tampa, you want to have videos or influencer videos that pop up and are talking about your brand so you can get that free discovery, right? Series-based content. You're going to follow me because I'm giving you social and digital marketing advice. You'll follow me because you want more of that stuff. You're going to watch me because you want more of that stuff now. It's less about the pretty people, unless you want to see more of that pretty woman or that pretty man, right? So at the end of the day, think of it as series based. Give them a reason to want to follow you. I don't want to spend time here, but for certain bigger businesses, you need to know if you're in the market for creators or influencers. Influencers are attention at scale, a little bit more produced, more expensive. There's creators, people who might have 5,000 followers that make really good content that fit your niche, and they're more $100 product trade, and they're creating content that you can then syndicate in your channels and ads. Really, with TikTok, and I would say late stage, before TikTok, you were seeing the division there because people need brands and people, businesses need other people to make content for them because your in-house teams can't do it all anymore. It's impossible, right? So know your challenges. You might need both. A big business might need both here. This is a wild stat, and this is really what's changed my whole outlook on things. Besides TikTokification of social, Gen Z and millennials are searching on TikTok, social, and YouTube over Google. And really, no one spends a lot. You go to Google when you specifically need something, and that pool is getting smaller and smaller. And there's a lot of businesses caught in the death spiral of just using running search and SEO, when all your opportunity is really in social. If you think about the biggest businesses, the Gary V, VaynerMedia, they grew through one person building enough attention and credibility, and that people want to work with that trust, right? And it's not coming from blogs, it's not coming from searching, it's coming from these social channels where there's free opportunity to build brand and demand. So when people spend all the time, the graph on the right here, and they spend their time on social, they spend their time in productivity tools like Google, working, they're reading news sites, they're on e-commerce sites. 10% of the time they're in search, right? And that's mostly 90% Google. That is also changing. This is a chart I took from a Neil Patel presentation here, but you can see that in, I think it's 2020, 98% of searches were in Google. And now in 2024, you're seeing less people searching in search engines. You're seeing people going to social media and AI chatbots. Myself, I probably go to a chatbot 50% of the time in Google when I need maybe something specific. Hey, local restaurant near me. Still has a lot of relevance. But if I'm like, hey, back in the day, how do I fix my muffler at home? I'm going to AI, or I'm going to YouTube or TikTok, because I'm going to get instructions in a video, and they're going to give me it fast, and I can watch it at 1.5. So you have to know, in a lot of aspects, your opportunity now is going to chatbots and social media. And the way to win in chatbots that we know right now is you need, there's a nice SEO marketers, influencer videos and your video content on these channels are now like the new backlinks, right? Like you need to rise the boats and get that free attention. You need lots of people creating content for you, just like you would get backlink strategies in Google. Search engines might not even be relevant. You might just be talking to your AI chatbot moving forward, and it's going to tell you how to do everything, get you information, order your food. So you really need to future-proof your business, knowing that pool is going to get smaller. Google's got a lot going against it. Again, local businesses, service businesses, still relevant, but all your real big upsides going to come from being smart with organic content. We'll talk about how to win there. Influencer content, again, drives purchases, right? Like at the end of the day, 82% of 15 to 26-year-olds, they're learning from online. They're watching YouTube. They grew up this way. They're not Googling. They're finding all their information from the people they know, like, and trust, right? Gen X, my generation, and millennials, same thing, 40%, 50% more. Millennials are really the first generation probably impacted. Now the young kids, they're not going to know any different, right? And they're not even, my daughter's going to talk to Siri before she goes to Google. So baby boomers, they're there, but they're 20%, they still older traditional stuff. So the reality is, and what we're talking about in the context of this, I know we're kind of going all through digital marketing, but there's one right move to grow your business, and it could be partnering, collaborating, developing a product, or different influencer strategies that we're going to talk about now. So this isn't the only thing you can do. There's lots of other stuff, paid social, there's SEO, there's good stuff. We're just focusing on influencer marketing for this next part of the presentation. So let's get into sort of the secrets of tactical stuff that you can do. We're in the age of influencer-led businesses, partnerships, and collaborations. The new collab button on Instagram, where you can do a podcast clip and share that post to Instagram, is the fastest way to build brand, right? Fastest way to use credibility. So you should be building collabs into your business, especially if you can afford it and you can strategically do it, or create a podcast, or your e-com brand, all that kind of stuff, right? I'm not gonna spend a lot of time here, but you can see these are really the sizes. This is a cheat sheet for anyone who needs it. You can DM me or message me. I might make this linkable on the YouTube video here. But essentially, super influencers have about 100,000 followers. Macro influencers have, that 250. People have slightly different numbers on all this stuff. I would just be more focused on kind of the directional sizes here. And on the right-hand side, I have like the deal and leverage you would have if you're negotiating with them. And in the middle is the motivation. Like, what are they motivated by? At the influencer level, they want those Michael Jordan offers, right? Like if they're big enough, The Rock, Kim Kardashian, they're not even going to brands. They're just basically going to big manufacturers and creating their brands. They want businesses. They want all the upside, right? Or if you think of like Adidas and Kanye, Adidas needed Kanye, right? They needed that brand deal. The Yeezys, basically became one of the best parts of the business, and then it raises all the boats. And they also had this cool product, and Kanye's was known and all that stuff. So think of it as like at that level, the Mr. Beast of the world. We'll talk about that more. Like they have so much attention. They just need the right product fit, right? Below that, you kind of can do the same. There's some stuff we'll talk about here, but really you can do collaborations. Think of it as like, you make a shoe, you can do a collab with a certain influencer that's got enough attention, and then, they put the little spin on it and you sell the same shoe, but they're driving all the brand recognition for you. Below that, mid-size, macro, nano, there's all sorts of mostly just pay to play there. So we'll talk about the key strategies on these next few slides. Core influencer strategies to drive business results. Here's the 3 things that I would bet my business on, and this is where all our clients are winning. And in fact, there's just like a million case studies for a lot of these, and I'm excited to share them with you. So evergreen micro to macro strategy. So this is more the more influencer pyramid, where brands build relationships with hundreds of influencers before elevating. And you should have a graduation system. I start partnering with these people. They're selling some product. Let's graduate them to more evergreen. Evergreen means sort of like yearly contracts. And then the ones that maybe are better or select few, you're doing these more collaboration posts. So it's like a whole system. And this is what a lot of e-com brands, how they quickly build their businesses. You have the Gymsharks of the world, the Coldest Water. I was a part of their big launch. Prestige Labs, Danielle Wellington, just influencer marketing at scale. This is really good for e-com and retail brands. Become an influencer, right? This is for B2B, B2C. This strategy is basically, takes time and investment, but ultimately has the best upside for any business is you become the influencer. Someone in your business becomes the influencer. And you can think of this is like basically very practical nowadays. This is where content plus your expertise and value equals consistent leads for your business. So you have that attention at scale. Gary Vee probably pioneered this the best in the modern era, built VaynerMedia to one of the biggest agencies in the world. And it's VaynerX now. He's got 30 different businesses. He is driving all of that growth, right? You can clone yourself. There's a way to do that, right? Now you can build AI clones and you can kind of get the same effect. You got Alex Becker and Hyros and countless other examples of people who basically are the face of their business now and have grown their personal brands to grow their businesses. Ryan Panetta is another one, Grant Cardone, those kind of people, right? That idea. You might not like those people, but that is the way to do it. And then you have partnerships with macro to super influencers, right? So this is you find the right influencer to be the face of a new product or business, capitalize on the influencer's built-in audience, and push a product at scale. This is audience plus product fit equals growth. This is the Yeezy Adidas. This is the Skims Kim Kardashian. This is Mr. Beast and Feastables, Logan Paul KSI Prime, multiple collabs and Canes. We'll use that as an example. And you can do this as a local business. This isn't something that you can do. You could find a local running back, a retired running back who owns the local audience, who's in town, who's like a micro celebrity. And you could be a restaurant and you make like a custom drink and he's promoting it weekly and you give him a little percentage of the sales or an ongoing stipend. So he's willing to do it, right? Or she, right? So I'll try two examples. So this is the craziest part. I think people are really underestimating what's going on here. You have Logan Paul, obviously, and Mr. Beast with Feastables, and they just, I think, launched their Lunchable competitor. These guys are, taking big hackets at these large brands, and they're doing it fast, right? You have Logan Paul, who creates Prime with Congo. Congo, no one knows who Congo is, but they basically, have a few other sports drinks. I think it's I can't think of them right now, but Gatorade, Powerade, Body Armor. But they just developed a product with Logan Paul, and he uses his attention to drive it. It's now the 4th best-selling sports drink. I'm sorry, it's the 4th best-selling sports drink behind Gatorade, Powerade, and Body Armor. I can't think of the other ones that are at Congo. So essentially, they just found someone, partnered with them, have good product market fit, right? Sports drinks for young kids to middle-aged men, and it's grown like a weed. I think it's due to even do better this year in 2024. Mr. Beastable's first year of selling chocolate, I think he sold out in Walmart. I think there was something, but in his first year, he did $250,000 in sales, projected to do even better in 2024. And there's no stopping this. I mean, the attention is here. Hershey's doesn't have anything but legacy. And I think if you think of Netflix and Blockbuster, I mean, this could be 5 years and Hershey's, not out of business, but, they're just getting whacked. They're not the leader anymore. So you can do this at scale, find your creator, develop a product, and then launch and drive sales. This is really for, can work, again, multiple different ways. Influencer ascension strategy. This strategy is what many top e-com brands do. If you look here on the right, you're really always sourcing. This is like you have an in-house team or an agency, and they're consistently building your sort of ongoing, you're really building this into your business. You're getting enough product out there. So back in the day, traditional companies would like go to sporting events and hand out product to get enough samples. Eventually you get the storm, but people then go to shopping, they add you to their shopping list. This is sort of a similar version of doing that online where you're seed outreaching. You're really going to like hundreds of people. It takes about 100 outreach emails to land 10 or 20 influencers. It's very hard nowadays. It used to be very easy. And what you're doing is you're developing that foundational layer of like product exchange or small deals with influencers who are getting enough that product out. You're using their creative. Hey, some do better than others. You then build that ambassador program with the really strong influencers, or you're finding ones that fit the ambassador program. They're more in that might 100,000 follower range, maybe 50,000 follower range. And then you're gradually graduating them to evergreen programs. So the first seed outreach, maybe just doing one-offs, testing them. Then you're graduating the good ones into an ongoing program where they're posting about you monthly. And then the high-touch collabs, we'll talk about this on the next slide. But really, it's finding those ones that make sense to, you sell popsicles, you make them a custom flavor, right? This is very, very much happening at scale. You see it all the time with influencers getting their own collab products. What that looks like, and you can honestly just take this approach too, is, and this is more of an evergreen approach, right? I love this. The shoe I was talking about, the Canes. They're like a cooler Croc, right? I would never wear Crocs, but I love these. They're like running shoes, no laces, super comfortable. They float in the water. I am on the boats all the time, so I love this. This guy is basically like a extreme athlete, right? Fitness guy. They reached out to him. The product is very basic. I have like a black and white one. They did like a collab. They put his like little circle saying on there. They add a little thing. There's a logo inside the seal. They made him a custom Canes shoe. They put it on the website. He promotes it. It drives sales and attention. You get people in the door. They have maybe 7 to 10 collabs at any time. This is a great way to kind of keep that top of funnel, but also drive sales and really build the brand equity off of these people. You do collab posts, right? They're posting your brand, and if he does a collab post, his brand, both brands are getting shown up in the news feed, so you get exposed to multiple audiences. This is really, every business should be building a version of this into what they're doing if they can afford it. Lastly, this is my favorite part because I think it's the most underrated, and I wanted this to be very tactical here. You can become a business influencer overnight. I mean, like small business owners are just documenting their process, finding the content form that works for them, and generating demand and growing through like a weed, right? And they're taking their little mom and pop businesses and becoming national businesses, or just really having really consistently, like you're improving your overall sales, right? Your profitability. Or I think of it back in the day, a lot of businesses, you would be the belt maker here in the town, and people will come to you in town. You have enough clientele to run a business. Those were getting harder and harder to do, right? Because people are going to like different stores. You're competing with big box. Now you could be a belt maker, a hat maker, and your small town is coming through your content you're posting, and it's 1,000 people a year online, and you got a 6-figure business, right? Maybe more. So give you a couple examples here. Some of my favorites that I've seen on TikTok or Instagram. You have Logan's Candies. These guys really blew up in early COVID. And this is just a dad small candy shop. I think it's in might be in Buffalo. I can't see them. It's in Ontario, Canada. And it's really like a tourist stop now. You see in his videos, there's tons of people will come packed to watch this guy make candy. Probably had barely any traffic back in the day. But now he's a tourist destination, right? When people come to town. But at the end of the day, this content could be a supplemental income. They're monetizing it, right? Ad revenue. It also is covering all his marketing costs. And it's just shot by his daughter, who got really smart and learning that there's some ASMR aspects, process aspects that people like. If you think of HGTV, all these channels were built on like voyeurism. Like people like to watch people flip homes. Like they might not do it, but they're inspired, right? It's interesting for them. It's different content. Like what you think is boring might be super voyeurism to other people, right? This guy in the middle, I can't really, again, I'm trying to read it here. Morrison Made, sweet belt maker. I've seen him even run some ads, blew up organic TikTok kind of documents how he does some ASMR, he does some product and talk. There's a lot of guys in kind of in this maker world, and now he's got a thriving e-commerce brand, and he does this full time. He's got his little manufacturing shop, probably sells, couple 20 belts a week. Could be crushing it for this guy. I think he sells them like $100 or something like that. So again, simple little way. He shoots his own content, shoots and edits it, probably does a work day, does a couple hours of work, edits the video for an hour, maybe less, and then post it online, right? You got this guy who recently blown up. He is Y Hats, and I've seen a bunch of hat makers after seeing this guy's content. They're in my algorithm. This guy just does sort of a cool process of showing how he makes these custom hats for guitar players and musicians and famous people. And he's the same way, putting it online, e-commerce site, sells the hats for $500 a pop because they're like these custom, really well tailored hats, and they're for a certain demographic. Again, not maybe get some walk-in traffic, but this becomes a very lucrative business when you can start to get people to buy online, right? So guy on the right here, Mike Andes, this guy is a serious entrepreneur. So he has a team, a marketing team. He's documenting everything, showing how he's doing businesses, he's building things, building courses, doing speaking. He took his local landscaping regional business and blew it up just by documenting the process and giving valuable information to help other entrepreneurs, other people trying to start businesses. Value, right? Value and content is a moat for your business. This is what all these guys learned. You could do this anywhere. A restaurant person could do it. Again, this guy's daughter shooting it on the left, right? I say that with caution. There has to be some talent involved, and you have to really be consistent here. It can't just be like your daughter comes in every once in a while. This should be thinking about this as an extension, a daily task for any business owner, any solopreneur, any entrepreneur. Should be one video a day. How do I get it out? Really, the sweet spot would probably be 2. But if you can do one video a day, you're going to start to see that snowball effect, testing, learning what works. What are other people in my space doing? How do I get inspiration? How do I get the best authentic self out on camera? Don't be scared of this. The other way I gave you is you can literally just clone yourself and have someone make those videos. But hope this is really helpful. Let's see, do I have time here? Real quick. So 3-step process. The whole thing is you have to pick the right influencers and that reach your cohorts, is just target audience or ideal client, to achieve your goals. Like, do they own your audience? You have to connect with them, how to work with them, and then align with them on how to properly promote your brand and business, right? So picking the right influencer. This is like doing some research. Like who is your ideal target? If you're trying to serve business owners, you need to probably partner with entrepreneurs or speakers or authors or a sports person, right? A golfer that really owns them, that they own the attention of your audience, that they can help if they're posting about your brand, that's going to actually drive effective awareness for you guys, right? So you need to know that stuff. Who are the influencers' followers? You can look at some of the entrepreneurs you're targeting. Like, you can literally go to Instagram and say, who are they following, right? You can start there. There's tools that help you here. We'll talk about a few of them. So which influencers best fit your product? Among all of this research, who's the best person to find your product, right? You're doing tequila. Oh, The Rock's perfect because he owns, 85% male audience, and I'm trying to sell tequila to male tequila drinkers, right? So you want to find the right fit between product and influencer is really critical. This is a really big hack. You find one influencer that works. Like, let's say you're looking for someone who owns, like I have a parent-led audience for my Dad Hero series. If you hit that little plus button on me, you're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that produce similar content that own similar audiences. That's the AI magic of Meta. They have all the information on all of us. If you're watching my videos, you're most likely following or watching their videos too. So this is a real quick hack. How to find influencers, right? There's places like Story Clash, Open Influence that are like search engines to find really quality influencers. So you want to start with them. The overall process is start with, if you're a local business, this guy, or someone, you have a friend with an influencer, a baseball player in town, start with them, ask them, right? Does your network know anybody? Send a few texts out, send emails. I'm looking for influencers for my business. You can reach out to influencers who you follow or tag, or who are already tagging. Like I was tagging Red Lobster. They reached out to me, right? So they knew I was a fan. They reached out to me, found my email. It's in my profile. There's so many ways to do this, right? There's the search engine that I just talked about, influencer agencies, talent agencies, and search engines. Going to talent agencies. If you sign up for IMDb Pro, you can usually find any contact info for any celebrity. Like it's crazy. There's so many ways to do it. Looking on their Facebook pages, looking on their Twitter, a lot of time they have their manager email. Like you can find a way to contact them. You can DM them. If you email them, if they don't reply, you always reply to your first email saying, hey, just following up here. Usually the first email goes into spam. When you hit that next one, it goes into their inbox. You go, oh crap, I missed this. There you go. And then influencer markets, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube have creator marketplaces, bypassing all the agencies. If you get access to these creator marketplaces, you can go directly to the influencers. How to get influencers to work with you. 1, email, send a short email. Hey, we love your content. I work for Red Lobster. I'm the marketing manager. We'd love to talk. If you're interested, let me know. I'll send you more information. That's as simple. You don't need to be crazy. Like just customize it. Hey, we love this. This is why we want to work with you. If you don't get a response, I can hit reply. TikTok or IG, you can direct messaging, just direct messaging them. Twitter, a lot of times, again, they'll put their email on different social media accounts. So just make sure you're checking everywhere. They might have a website, lots of ways to find their contact information. And then marketplaces here that we talked about in the last slide. When reaching out, you got to know your leverage here, right? So at the end of the day, if you're really reaching out to super influencers, like you want to get The Rock to do a product with you. If you're a smaller business, right, the influencer is bigger than your brand, you want to lean on what you are best at. So this is like you have the personal touch, care, you can be flexible, you can be all in, owner mentality, you're going to give them all your attention. If you're a larger business like Conga Foods and Mr. Beast, hey, we got track record, we got the infrastructure, we're a manufacturer the crap out of this, we know all the best practices, we've done this before, so we're specialists, we got the perfect team to do this. And then we can associate double the brands, right? So, anchor what your leverage is when you're going into negotiate. How to determine a rate. This is just a simple hack. So you don't overpay for an influencer. Go through the influencer's last 10 videos, like take your target CPM. So if you don't know what this means, like in Facebook, you might have an average of $10, or I think I use $30 CPM on a conversion ad, right? So that means like the amount you pay to reach 1,000 people is $30. Run these numbers through a CPM calculator. You can just Google CPM calculator, pop it up, and then it'll give you a directional cost for those views. So if this person's averaging, right, 50,000 views here on the bottom, and your CPM is $30, that's going to give you, hey, it's worth paying this person at least $1,500 a post. That will let you not get scammed or hustled when reaching out to an influencer. This is the influencer checklist. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. You can screenshot this and look at it. This is like when you're doing a contract, you need all this information here, okay? And then influencers POV of a partnership. So what's in it for me? Ultimately, I get 20 emails a week. Most of them are junk, scam, bull crap, brands I don't want to work with. They're not personal. They're part of this like mass outreach. And that's the worst way to do it. So I'm looking for someone who cares about me, that writes me directly, that says, tells me why I'm a good fit. And they're human. I can tell that it's a real person reaching out to me. And what is the value that you're going to give me? I got to put my time and effort into this, build this product or do something very custom. I got to share it to my audience that's going to, cringe a little bit that I'm doing an ad. So you want to make the cash worth it, right? The CPM offer. You want to make sure I'm the right fit. I'm a bald guy. Like maybe you're selling me a razor, right? I want long-term partnerships, but totally worth it for me one-offs because I'm not as active as I used to be maybe 2 years ago. If they mention or use your brand, actually, if someone's posting about your brand, I talk and work with some wrestlers here. If they're talking about fitness products, you should be reaching out. And then collab posts. Like I want a collab post with a brand that's got a following, so we can both grow our audiences. Whitelisting. I know you're going to run an ad from my Facebook page or my Instagram page. I'm going to grow more, right? That on TikTok, that was really key for me in the beginning. So is it worth that influencer's time? Have that in mind, so it's a win-win. This is whitelisting. I'm not going to spend all the time here. You can, for anyone watching this, you can just spend this. This is basically, you can run ads. So if you're a brand, you run ads from your Facebook page. You can actually get access to an influencer's. It usually costs a little bit more with the influencer, their page, to run ads. You can run ads. It's a great way to A/B test. Is it better coming from the influencers or better coming from the brand? And a lot of times this is leverage with like, small to mid-sized influencers. They know that if you get 1 million views to you're running an ad from their page, that's added value. They might grow their audience from that, especially on TikTok. This is how you sell in Instagram stories. I learned this from a very big fitness influencer. It's what we call a demonstration of high value, how to sell in the stories without selling. And typically what you do here on this left, you're entertaining. Hey, check out my really cool car, right? This is just one for a brand that we work with. Hey, to show or tell them something cool. Hey, this is how we manufacture your shirt. This is this new custom artwork we're making. And then you transition. Man, what do you think of this shirt? We've been getting a lot of requests from you guys. If you're looking for a shirt like this, hey, just direct message me. And here we said church shirts, right? And at the end of the day, you can set up an auto DM where you're driving them to a link or a messaging sequence where that links out and you're getting sales. This is a great way, probably the best way to sell on Instagram. Also putting that in your post. Hey, DM, comment church shirts, and then you set up the automation where that triggers a ManyChat DM, and you're just doing this at scale. So Instagram can be one of the best lead gen platforms of all time. So anyways, hope all this was helpful. This is how you measure success. I don't have time. I actually have to hop in a minute. That's why I'm rushing here. If you like this, want more videos like this, just comment below. I really appreciate you guys' time. Hope there's a lot of nuggets in here for you guys to know the future of influencer marketing 2024, 2025, beyond. Peace.